Are humans inherently good, or are they inherently bad? Well, that's something we may never know, but at least in the story of Medaka Box, there is one character who firmly believes it is the latter, the chairman of the Public Morals Committee, Unzen Mayori, and so this is who we shall discuss today. So if you find yourself entertained at any point during the video, then consider liking, subscribing and ringing that bell, as I cannot explain to you how much just a small action can do for this channel, and if you want to support this channel even further, then perhaps check out my Patreon. Anyway, on with the video. Unzen is the chairman of the Public Morals Committee, which is basically like the school's personal police force and also a member of the 13th Party, but fun fact, is not part of the Front 6 or Plus 6, but instead is called the Onri Wan, which translates to only one. But that aside, Unzen acts as a hammer of justice for Hakinawa Academy, laying down the law on those who break the school rules. He has a strict and violent approach to justice, something which naturally puts him at odds with the student council president who believes in peace and reform, Kurakami Medaka. Now Unzen, like all of Medaka Box's antagonists, foils Medaka in a few key ways. Now since Unzen is the first large scale antagonist we meet in the series, he serves to foil and challenge the first obvious trait of Medaka we witness, this being her desire to save everyone via peaceful means, her belief that everyone is good at heart and have just been led astray and so can be led back on the right path, everyone can be reformed without the need for punishment. On a very simple level, you can say that Medaka believes all people are inherently good, that nobody is naturally bad, that it is just nurture that leads them astray, something built upon later in the story with the Minuses who quite literally gain their powers from nurture. Unzen though is an abnormal through and through, and he believes in the power of nature over nurture. He believes people are not led astray, that such things as circumstances are pointless. He has an objective view on the world, break the rules and you will be punished. And the reason for this view of his is that he believes all humans are inherently evil. People will do bad things unless they are forced not to. Fear of punishment is what maintains peace. As he says to Medaka, if you forgive people, they know they can just ask for forgiveness the next time and never learn from their mistakes. He sees punishment as the only way to leave a lasting effect. That is the justice he believes in, an absolute one that punishes all equally without restraint. One believes in innate goodness and reform, the other in innate evil and punishment. This is perfectly encapsulated when Medaka asks for them to talk through their issues peacefully, and Unzen replies with a declaration of violence. The two fundamentally disagree. So then thematically their conflict is Medaka's philosophy being challenged. He acts to test her beliefs and to expose if they truly hold up. Up until this point in the story, no challenges have been presented to Medaka that she cannot overcome. There is seemingly nothing she cannot do, and her approach of peaceful reform has gone unquestioned. However, that changes when these two come to blows. The first time we see Medaka actually have to stand up for her ideals, and the first time we see Medaka, the person who is always right, be wrong. Unzen's goal in their fight was to expose her true nature, to prove that she is not good at heart, that she is the same as him, that she is just as evil as he is. When she transforms into her war god mode, she reveals what's underneath her words, a violent person who wants to hurt others, who wants to punish others. She wants to punish humans to protect humans. She became exactly the same as him. And so as a result, her philosophy is proven wrong, that innate goodness does not exist. However, at the same time, Unzen's own philosophy is not proven correct either, because people are not born good or bad, they are just born as people. Medaka goes to finish Unzen off, she tries to end him with a punch, however she fails to do so, and that's because she is stopped by the student council, by her friends. Sure, innate goodness does not exist, but that doesn't mean good people do not. Medaka reformed her friends from delinquents and those who don't care for their own lives. She helped them become better people by lending out the hand of friendship. It doesn't matter if Medaka is violent, if she has urges to punish like Unzen, because whether they exist or not inside her, she doesn't act on them, and when she does, her friends stop her. Even if people are not innately good, it doesn't mean they don't have good in them. Innate human feelings don't matter in the grand scheme of things. It is instead how people choose to live, whether they want to embrace the evil or the good in their hearts, whether they want to be ruled by their nature, their nurture, or neither of the two. To call people just evil or just good is too narrow a view to look through, it is one that prevents nuance. Unzen looks at people this way to validate his own beliefs and his own sense of justice. If people are naturally evil, then it is only right for him to punish them in the name of justice. By seeing people this way, he could justify his own agenda. He can play the role of justice, of a hero, because everyone is evil. He can justify his actions as it is in the name of justice. And although this is very much my own conjecture, I think Unzen just naturally likes to punish others. He likes to be right, he likes to be an authority. And then to act on this, he chooses to play the role of justice, so he can act as an evil human without feeling bad about it or without being punished for it. And Medaka is the same. She became a pacifist whose purpose is to save strangers, because that is what Zenkichi saw in her, because by conforming to that role he placed on her, she can justify her abnormal nature and not feel isolated from humanity. Her way of thinking is a coping mechanism to her true nature. It lets her not be ashamed of who she is, and I believe Unzen is the same, using justice as a mechanism for him to be himself without just being evil. He is being evil to stop evil, he is a necessary evil, and so his existence is justified. Medaka is not perfect, she is flawed, and this fight is the first time we get to see this, the first time her goddess act is ripped away. But her friends, her connections are there to support her. Unzen is proven wrong, reform does work, as the once enemies of Medaka stood by her even when given an out and when put in danger. But then at the same time, Unzen is also proven right, as Medaka isn't true to her word. She does have anger and rage in her heart. It's not cut and dry, and that's the point. Medaka's arc is coming to become human, of understanding herself, so as the arcs come and go, we see Medaka understand what parts of her are true and what are just an act. And so in this arc, Medaka learns that although she isn't innately good, that the words she spouts aren't always true, her methods do work, that the friends she formed will support her. As she isn't a god, she is a human, and humans can't do everything alone. Hence why her takeaway from the fight, as she says to Unzen, is that although she did get carried away, she still believes she can become friends with anyone, because friendship and connection is what makes humans so strong. Heck, you could even make a case that from this arc onwards, the reason Unzen seems more happy and doesn't have to keep proving his agenda to people is because of this lesson taught to him by Medaka. He joins up with Team Loser, he befriends the main cast. The Unzen-Medaka fight, although not the best in the series, is still one of the most important, as it is the first time that we get to see Medaka, the first time we can see past her act and what she really is like. That she is flawed like every other human, that she is not a goddess, that she is not infallible. Unzen exposes this part of her, he proves that her philosophy is wrong, that she's just too optimistic, but ironically also shows the same thing about himself, as they are very much alike, something the two even comment on. Both cannot accept their true selves, so use roles, be it as justice or as a goddess, to justify themselves and their way of living. Medaka learns to just be herself and not feel bad about being abnormal, and Unzen learns that there are people who will accept him as not justice, but as just him. He is reformed in a way by Medaka through their fight. He has shown connection, that there are people who care about not just justice, but him. His fellow committee members like not just justice, but him as well. As even if he is a sadist with a harsh view on humanity, he is still human, and that makes him just as much human as any one of us. Comment of the week comes from Maruf Khan, and thank you, I'm glad you enjoyed the video. And if you want to go the extra mile in supporting this channel, then consider pledging to my Patreon, where for as little as £2.75 a month, you can get your name at the end of the video, like Hikari Desu, 7SO, Ringjack9696, Dewey, and General Tonyos. So with all that said and done, I've been SephTheSin, the Deadly Sin of Geek, and I'm signing out. Stay safe, everyone.